Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and it's better late than never, right? Thanks everybody for standing by while we deal with some minor tech issues. This is the first time we've had only 5 players in the Dawnbringers since about 2/3 of the way through Ghosts of Saltmarsh Season 3. But everything's all set now, the gang's all here, and we are here for Season 5, Episode 7, Nothing Burns Like the Cold is the title of tonight's episode. And for the first time this season, I feel like the Dawnbringers can really kind of settle into their predicament and start to deal with some certain matters at hand and start to figure out how they're going to survive and get around and truly figure out what's going on in this frigid, cold land. We'll get to that in just a few moments. I'm going to go through announcements super quick since we got a late start this morning. All of the usual things that we talk about, the icons are along the bottom of the screen, and we do have tiles down below as well, plus the information for them will be popping up periodically in the chat throughout the stream. But please do check out Jasper's Game Day, who we are partnered with. There'll be a lot more information coming up in the coming weeks and months about the 3rd annual Jasper's Game Week, week-long gaming event happening right here. 5 days of gaming. This year it's actually being kicked off by 2 days of gaming over on D&D Beyond. And then we're going to pick it up on Sunday for the Jasper's Game Week proper. And I believe there's another partial event that's taking, or another event that's kind of bookending us that weekend. But as I said, stay tuned for more information. You definitely want to be following Jasper's Game Day, at Jasper's Game Day on Twitter. That is going to be the primary release point for all of our information, and then the rest of us excuse me, that are involved will periodically as those come out, we'll retweet it, so you'll hear about it. Trust me, we'll be shouting it from the mountaintops. Initiative Coffee Company, you can type !coffee and see how you can get your own midday coffee roast, and in doing so you can also help to support Jasper's Game Day. Be sure to check out Talon and Claw by typing in !MTD Claw to find out where you can get your custom-made wooden dice accessories through them, and use code MTDClaw at checkout to get 10% off, as well as support the channel by doing so. Shout out, of course, as always, to D&D Beyond, who has granted us insider access, which is awesome because I use D&D Beyond for running the vast majority of my encounters and all of my D&D games. You'll be seeing some maps and other things from D&D Beyond incorporated into this game, as well as you can mouse over the stream at any time if you're watching on your computer, and you can see a wonderful overlay showing all the players and their stats and what characters are playing, etc. Domain dice. If you look up above V, it's now exclusively above V, no longer above Dan and V. You can see that the Dawnbringers have 155 domain dice at their disposal. Domain dice are a way that you, the viewer, can have an influence on the game simply by tipping the channel $5, cheering 500 bits, subscribing, resubscribing. People give out gift subs, all kinds of great things that earn them domain dice that give the players the ability to re-roll dice, make me re-roll dice, all the way up to super criticals, which are turning a hit into an automatic double max damage for 5 domain dice. The last thing before we get started I'm going to talk about is, once again, the most important thing that we always take a moment to talk about, and that's mental health. We are doing our part. MTD is dedicated to doing our part to destigmatize conversations around mental health and talking openly about our mental health. I'm very open about my struggle with anxiety and depression, and it's just been incredibly helpful that over a year ago I sought the help of a counselor, and I see a therapist on a regular basis now. And I just now I can't imagine what I would have done without them. So, but we know that it can be difficult in these crazy times that we've been living in for the past year. And we want you to know that, one, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to feel the way you feel. It's rough, but you're allowed to feel that way. But what you need to know, what we want you to know while you're experiencing these feelings, is that you matter. You make a difference. Your presence makes a difference in this world. And as they say at Jasper's Game Day, you are not a critical failure. So in order to help facilitate you reaching out, taking that first step and getting help, you can type !help in our chat. No matter whether we're streaming or not, you can come here when we're offline. You can type in !help, and that help message will pop up with wonderful resources for phone numbers, text numbers, a URL where you can reach out no matter where you are in the world. There is help that is available to you, and we encourage you to please reach out, take that first step, and get help. With that, who's ready to play some Dungeons and Dragons? All right, V's out. So, all right. So the Dawnbringers have recently found themselves in what they've just learned. Actually, they just learned from Oyaminterac, the were polar bear. I didn't even have to look at anything to say that name this time. They've just recently learned that they are in Icewind Dale. Though they might not necessarily know what that means, they know that that's where they are. But they are still kind of trying to figure out why they're here and where's the rest of the ship and where's the crew, and what's going on with that. They sort of landed or found themselves at this cabin that has proven perilous on many fronts. Though thanks to Oyaminterac, it is now repaired. There's no longer a hole in the floor. The cabin is safe, and they've been hanging out here. Though they did have to deal recently with a ice troll that showed up. And upon slaying it, Oyaminterac basically ripped it open, tore out the heart, and made Talmud eat it, since Talmud had the killing blow. And Talmud, for the next 24 hours, has some interesting benefits because of eating that heart. They did also say hello once again to their friend Fig, who has returned from the Underdark via a magical adamantine fortress. And Fig also was able to, after they successfully defeated the ice troll, all of them, the Dawnbringers, working one last time with their friend Gerithan, the Githzerai. Fig gave Gerithan a clockwork book that magically transported him somewhere, and then the book fell to the ground, no longer displaying the title Limbo on it. They're fairly certain he went home. And through the presence of a dream walk, they all said farewell to Griveth, who was called in service to Eldath, and has vanished and is no longer with the Dawnbringers. We are picking up after Gerithan has left. The ice troll is defeated. You're all have realized you're standing around still with no cold weather gear, out in this freezing tundra. Thorgarn, you still have in your hands this strange device, this burnt out looking rock with these couple of metal rings. You and Gerithan had looked it over and had determined that with supplies at the cabin, you could possibly fix this. You could possibly make it stable. But you've been the one that's been holding on to it. You even showed it to Fig at one point, who started to take a look at it. And this is sort of, we're going to cut to, it's a little bit later. You're all back in the cabin. And if for no other reason than to get warm. So as you're all now in the cabin, what would you like to do? And actually, for the first time, I can show you what the cabin looks like. We have a map now. This is the floor plan of the cabin that you're at. Yeah, I made sure to keep you two next to each other. I knew it wouldn't do to separate V and Jeremy. So yeah, you are in this cabin. I will point out real quick a couple of things just so you can kind of get your bearings in here. This area, well, first of all, where you see these broken planks, those are fixed now. This area in here was where the floor fell through and Drown almost fell 150 feet to presumably his death. This is the workshop. This little storage area here is where all of that frozen elven wine is from the Desert Valley. This is the workbench where you found the device, and this is the double fireplace, one of two double fireplaces in the cabin. Now, Dawnbringers, what would you like to do?
I am having trouble remembering which telecommunication program I'm using, and thus where the mute button is. So Drown will just sort of, take stock of everything and say, shall we move toward the Lonely Wood that Oyumenartok told us of?
Oh, sure. Let's just go out into the wild. Why not? Great idea.
Well,
We could always stay here.
It's a direction. We need to get somewhere, find out what happened to the crew. This last day has been really confusing. We were underground and now we're on a broken ship and now we're in the snow, and we need to get to a place that we can kind of take a moment and really figure out what our plans are and how we're going to get wherever we're supposed to be getting.
So basically just another day that ends with Y.
Right, but it's a lot harder to do when you're in the middle of nowhere as opposed to, somewhere.
Are we certain that all of us are going to make such a journey? He's going to kind of say this away from Yesha, but kind of look at her to indicate that he's kind of referring to her.
It's a fair concern.
We don't have...
I mean, I can always do the little hut thing every so often, but I can't keep doing it. Let's just say if frostbite starts kicking in, I can put one of those up. But we have to be sparing with it.
We really don't have much in the way of resources. I mean, there's some stuff here, but there's only so many things that we have to protect us from the cold, and Cubworth went and took one of them with him.
I would offer her my boots to wear to try to take the worst of the cold out, but then I would have to walk barefoot, and no.
Simply staying here at this cabin wouldn't do anything for us. This, and he just sort of waves up at the aurora-filled night sky, is apparently never ending. Staying out here is a death sentence.
Well, it's not like we're not used to being stuck in a place of full darkness all the time.
There is that. Your magic drown, that can't just take us to one of the crew.
I have to know where I'm trying to go. I can't go to someone. I have to go to some place. And the less I know about it, the more dangerous it is.
Plus, the last place we were was a broken ship.
Does anyone have the ability to communicate over long distances?
Limited, but
Fairly
not
loud when
enough.
I want to be.
I mean,
That's
long,
Drown nods and says,
beyond sight.
Drown nods and says, I can, but it's not immediate. We can do it tonight when I sleep.
Who do we think would be the best to reach out to?
Victor. What? He was technically in charge of the ship before we left.
Victor or Valoran?
I think Victor's a.
Oh, wait, Valoran stayed back in Saltmarsh, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Valoran went with
Yeah.
Lady Vantage to take
That's right.
command of the dreadnought.
So not him. Right. I suppose
mind.
Victor then.
I think that would.
What?
No, that was Dan having a moment of, do I
Oh.
want to make a beholderkin have a dream?
Yeah, on the meta, maybe that's not such a great thing.
I
I
I
thought Drow
don't
was
know
actually,
if spectators have the same issue.
I love that thought.
Well,
I
there's
love
always
that
one way to
thought
find out.
too.
Drown doesn't know not to, so one way or another, we're doing it.
Drown can't know
Ah.
this one.
Would that make a little drownling?
Oh dear Lord. Well,
All right.
all right. So reach out to Victor. Let's see what type of progress we can make. Push comes to shove, I will do a little hut. Actually, it's more tiny, but still.
Well, there's more space now with
Less
Grid
ego.
not being here.
Thorgarn,
Make
me a perception or insight check,
Ah.
please.
I think I'd rather go insight. I have a chance of passing that one. That's going to be a 24, sir.
As you've all been discussing your options, you have this ever-present awareness of Father Griffin always nearby. You've grown so accustomed to it that it's just this presence there that you suddenly and very acutely become aware of its absence.
So I guess Thorgarn would, mid-sentence or mid-thought, turn over his right shoulder and just kind of stop and just stare.
As you look over your shoulder, you see not Father Griffin, but you see a different spirit standing there. This one is It's hard to tell if he's human or half-elf. He's humanoid, average size, but most of it, the side of his head is charred, half of his hair is burned away. He could picture Two-Face from the Dark Knight movies. You know, he just kind of has that burn, no lips, partial teeth, staring. And as you turn and you look right into this burned spirit, you're the one called Thorgarn, yes?
I am.
Thorgarn, the smith. You're Smith, yes?
I am a smith, yes.
The crafter. Your dwarven hands wrought iron and metal and stone, and you make things whole that were broken. You make things from nothing, yes?
I mean, I'll take out Forge Fane and just have it shrink down to a smith hammer size.
Yes. It is as he said. Your father, Gerithan. Yes. He told me about you.
How can I help you?
I need you to fix it. So that I might rest.
I guess, I'll pull out the orb.
Yes. That's it. You've already seen how horrible it is when not done right. I thought I had it. I thought I had it the last time. But I did not.
Well, I am sorry for your loss and your suffering.
I've been waiting days, weeks, months, I don't know, for anyone to come. And, well, I'm afraid you're going to have to fix it if you want to leave with Father Gerithan.
Where is Father Gerithan?
Oh, he's here. He's here, but I had to switch places with him so that I could speak with you. Father Gerithan is an interesting, unique individual.
He's an amazing man.
He's able to walk with you on the material plane, where I must linger in the border ethereal.
Are you able to guide me in this task, or does Father Gerithan say I'm skilled enough to make this happen?
He said you could do it, if anybody could do it. Maybe the other dwarf could help you. 2 dwarves are better than 1 is what I always say.
You don't know Talmud very well.
I don't know what a Talmud is, but if it's a dwarf, then yes, put it to work. Make it help you. It will help you. You understand this, what I was trying to do. That is called
control weather or something along those lines.
It's called the Summer Star. If you can fix it, you can clear the weather. You can make winter stop.
Well, that would be very delightful if I can actually make that happen. Is something just merely out of place, or does it require actual enchantment?
You figured it out part way. You realized that you needed to add another ring. That was my flaw. I only added 2. I thought 2 would be enough. It was not. There needs to be 3. And you must take great care in inscribing the runes upon the 3rd ring. If you don't do it just right, Well, you've seen what can happen, but I must see this to its completion. Then I can go. Then you can have Father Griffin back.
Who are you?
And my name, it's for the first thing that keeps trying to leave me. I am Macredus. That's it. That's just my name. And you'll remember that you, or rather I'm reminding you because it's been a long time since that happened, that you found a note that was in the fireplace that was from a halfling named Copper to Macredus. Do you remember that note?
I remember that there was a note. Anything about it, I don't.
I mean, that literally was
it was
2 months ago.
I mean, it was like, yeah, it was a note written to Macredus. It sounded like they had a little spat, and Copper was peacing out. And
Yep.
in the note, it said, "Hey, you need an extra ring, dummy."
Yep.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so through you and Gerithan working together, you had sort of figured out that with the scrap metal that you found in the workshop of this cabin, and a few hours worth of work, you might be able to put this thing back together and make it function.
All right. Well, not living as Thorgarn, Ted completely forgot all of that stuff. So
I figured as much. I was trying to leak it back to you.
I applaud your way of doing so, and thank you very much. So I just kind of turn my back on everyone and kind of go to the workshop, stoke the fire, and begin looking at what needs to be done to add this third ring.
So, just to point out, from everybody else's perspective, Thorgarn just turned around and started talking to something that wasn't there, which is not all that unusual, but then just suddenly left, though you've heard his side of this conversation and mentioning this device, when he just suddenly turns and heads over to the workshop, which, just as a reminder, the workshop does not have a fireplace and is a separate, you have to go outside to go into the workshop. But that's the workshop there. Oops.
So I guess we're not leaving yet, then.
Apparently not. This runs in the family, doesn't it?
What is he doing?
Fig,
What runs in the family?
Fig, just as a
Way.
Fig, just as a reminder, Thorgarn had asked you for your thoughts and opinions on this. By way of greeting, actually, he was like, "Hey, welcome back, Fig. Can you help? What's this?"
I think Fig's like just watching Thorgarn. But he just nods because I think the only two dwarves he's ever met have talked to things that aren't there, or like interacted with things aren't there. So he thinks that this is like a thing that dwarves do, all of them. So he's just kind of nodding along, waiting for Thorgarn to inevitably explain.
So, what are the rest of you doing while Thorgarn's headed off to the shop?
Fig's gonna follow him.
Okay.
Cantriel would have tucked herself up near or with Yesha and like kind of tucked her in underneath because she's still wearing Drown's massive coat. So kind of like just tent the two of them together and like body heat, keep each other warm type of thing.
Yeah, it's cold
Probably
enough.
wouldn't be a bad idea to go like start a fire if he's going to be at that for a little bit.
Yeah, and the fire would have still. I imagine somebody would have stoked the fire some more, and Oyam Interrock had brought a bunch of fresh firewood that she had put in the woodshed outside. But it is cold enough outside that even with the fire lit, if you get more than 10 feet from the fireplace, you start to feel the chill. So Fig and Thorgarn are in the workshop and are going to be working to craft this third ring, engrave the runes upon it, and put the whole thing together. So
Yeah, I think could Fig catch up with Thorgarn? Like,
yeah, I mean he's just
as
walking
he's
out
walking?
across the porch and to the other room.
Yeah, Fig wants to catch up with Thorgarn. Thorgarn, do you need assistance?
What? Oh, yeah, that would be great. You know that orb thing? Apparently needs to be fixed. It's supposed to. And he just kind of waves up at all of the clouds and the snow. If we can get this fixed, it'll fix that.
Yes, I deduced that it is broken and can control the weather. Also, he just nods like, yep, that's also what he knows.
Well, apparently, McClady's, I think he said his name was.
Macretus.
He's apparently here. And we need a third ring. We need to have the runes on it perfectly in order for it to work properly. But we have to be really careful with this thing because when I first touched it, it blew up and nearly killed Yesha. I do look around and make sure that Yesha nor Talmud doesn't fully know why Talmud is so crazed over Yesha. I don't think he explained who she is properly. But apparently she's important to Talmud, so that's important to me.
Yeah, Fig's just.
So yeah, you got anything against fire that might be good to pull out?
I will help in whatever way I can. I have no fear of fire.
So how long this takes and how well this works is going to be determined on a series of checks with Fig and Thorgarn.
Sure.
It's going to take a minimum of, or rather a baseline of 3 hours to work on this. Potentially you could shorten that time or increase the time. The first thing you know that you need to do is you need to fabricate the metal ring and the additional pins to fix this together, which this is straight up in your wheelhouse there, Thorgarn, with your ability to forge with your forge fane and stuff. And I would say this. I would like the two of you to describe this portion of the task. Narrate how you're going about doing the forging of these pieces. And then I will have somebody make a roll.
So Fig is incredibly intelligent. So I would assume that he would be helping me pick out the best pieces of metal. I don't think Fig has smith tools. So like I would probably be asking him about, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? comparing the actual piece that we're supposed to fix, looking at what's the material that it's already made of, where the third ring that he would speculate it should go, and then just use the best pieces that are going to accomplish the task the quickest. Does that sound appropriate, Fig?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Fig doesn't have forging tools, but he does have alchemy supplies, which includes looking at like the components and like the structure of things, including different metals. So I think, yeah, he would definitely be helping out, trying to match the ring or to the pieces to best fit this thing. But I think, yeah, Thorgarn would actually be doing the smithing after they have convened.
So, Fig, I will have you make me an intelligence check. To see how well you're able to put this knowledge to work, something you've only ever read about.
That's a 19.
Although I would say roll with advantage, because now you have the knowledge or the memory of the knowledge of not only, you don't just remember or didn't just read this, you created an entire army of automatons.
Yeah, that's still a 19 because
Okay.
I rolled a 5. On the
All right. And so the quality of the metals are perfect. They're exactly, Fig is able to get the components down to perfectly match the composition of the metal. Thorgarn, it's up to you to shape it.
So, as is, pretty typical, if I'm gonna actually do forging, that's gonna probably get into dwarven chant, dwarven prayer. Through the process, would I be able to have guidance on this particular role there, sir?
You're going to guide yourself?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So I assume we want a Smith Tools roll. What particular stat are you looking for?
This is going to be dexterity, and you're going to add your proficiency bonus.
All right. So we're going to have one of them, and we're going to have one of them. All right. So. All right. I would like to use a domain die.
Tink, 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 chung.
See, that is so much better. All right. So that's going to be a 28, sir.
All right.
A 6 replaced with a 19 is always a nice thing.
With that, Fig's expertise in getting the proper composition and your smithing abilities, I will say that you've actually created the pieces that you need a lot faster than you thought. So you've knocked 1 hour off of the base time. The next thing that remains is the third ring must have the runes carved into it. The same runes that are in the other 2 rings. That's going to be a dexterity check using Smith's tools. And if you can figure out any other way to approach that, I'll be willing to hear that.
So, thinking outside the box here, Fig has alchemy, could totally just do an acid etch. So you basically, make sure the thing is perfect, and then pour, the acid on so it goes in. We could see about whether we want to bring Cantriel into this process because she is far more dexterous than I, but don't know if I don't think Cantriel's a smith, so we might think of how we might workshop something there. But I am
There's
not
the
super
whole-
dexterous.
She's
So,
got mending. So if it gets screwed up, start over. Or some bardic inspiration.
so what do you think there, Fig?
Yeah, I wonder if we can set up like a guide of like how the runes are supposed to look, and then maybe Cantriel could do the etching.
I have, I believe, like a quill and ink type of thing set up because of, sage stuff. Yes, I do. I have a small knife and a quill. So I could even etch with the small knife.
So you're going to have Cantriel do the actual etching work.
Well, she is the artist in the group.
That's fine.
And I think, setting up
She's not a dummy.
some kind of guide would be good too.
What do you mean by a
guess,
guide?
Like superimposing the, when you carve pumpkins and you like have
Like a
this little
tracing
thing.
right?
Yeah, stencil.
Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. Yeah, thanks.
It's okay. We're good. Same page now.
Yeah.
So
So,
you could make the stencil and cut out the stencil with a small knife, and the tools are there. There's a bottle of ink. There's a quill. You could draw it out. There's your stencil.
You have charcoal from the fire. You have, at the very least, if nobody has any on them, you have the letter from Copper that will provide you with paper. So this is a sound
And there was
plan.
a ton of paper in the like the workshop, the laboratory, because there was a lab with like all the plans of everything
Oh,
scattered
yeah.
all over
Yeah,
the room.
actually,
I
yeah,
have a
there's
book
lots
of
of
erotic
paper around
poetry
here.
I'm willing to give up. So hey.
So
I don't think we
So,
did
be
any of
careful.
those traced onto the rings.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with the runes on that though.
fixated more on the task at hand rather than everything that's going on. Thorgarn would just kind of like triangulate the room and just kind of pound on the wall and be like, Cantriel, could you come over here? Need your
Why?
need your assistance to fix that orb thing if you're willing.
Fine. And she'll like shrug herself out of the coat to leave around Yesha. Because Yesha's fragile.
I love how
And drapes her way over.
I love how in the discussion V was super helpful, but as soon as Cantriel is asked, she gets sassy.
You got to be in character, man.
Right?
So when you come through the door to the workshop, look, I'm sorry, I just kind of wandered off, but you can't see him. But the dude who made this blow up, he's here, and he's kind of told me what needs to be done, and I show you the extra ring and all the pieces that Fig has been helping me with. There's no two ways about it. You have the most dexterous hands here, and these runes need to be perfect. I don't want the thing blowing up again. They need to match exactly what's on this. Do you feel comfortable putting them on this thing, on this extra ring that I've got? I'm pretty darn confident that this is exactly what it needs to be, other than the runes.
Yeah, shouldn't be a problem. I mean, I grew up around books and writing and taking notes and copying things in strange languages, so.
Well, I just hand out the pieces and
All right, Cantriel.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give me a I'm going to have you give me a dexterity check as the base. But I'm going to have you add your Arcana modifier.
Okay.
Wow, that's a big grin. Is that bigger than your dex?
My Arcana is a +11.
Holy crap!
I can offer a prayer while you're doing this if you like, although I would probably do it silently to not mess up your concentration.
Okay, so Dex check and Arcana. So I'm looking at 14 added to whatever I roll. So that's going to be a 27.
I just imagine Cantriel looking at everything, making the etchings and tracings, and going to work with this knife, just humming away while working, deftly carving away the bits and pieces of metal to etch these runes in. And it only takes you an extra half hour to fully etch all of these runes into this ring. Taking a look at it, you almost, if it wasn't for the ring not being attached, you wouldn't be able to tell it apart from the other rings. The quality is flawless.
Here you go.
The last thing that remains is to assemble it together.
Now, is that a straightforward, or is there things that we haven't quite figured out?
No, because you and Gerithan figured out exactly how this thing works. You've crafted all the pieces. You just need to pull it apart and reassemble it with the new pin and ring. And that is going to be a straight up dexterity check.
Can Fig ready a Yeetith spell? To
Oh, what?
to just
A yeet it
like
spell?
a spell of yeeting, or like dimension door, in case
Do you want me to put
this
this
thing blows
together?
up and we need to get out really fast.
If you wouldn't mind, this piece goes here and this piece goes here. You have to kind of slide this thing around to get this piece in just right.
Uh-huh.
So
Slightly complicated. But,
Fig's readying the arcane fire extinguisher.
and I will ready some healing if need be.
All right, great. So if this is the end of things, it's been nice knowing you.
You can't help but
Emergency
notice.
warp core jettison.
You can't help but notice, Thorgarn, that the spirit form of Macretus has taken about 4 steps back.
Let me see.
I have all the confidence in Cantriel in this task.
Oh, you're making Cantriel put it together?
Cantriel's gonna mutter to herself, "Yes, we definitely got this one," and she's giving herself some bardic inspiration, like pep talk mode.
Sure.
And I will give you a guidance.
Oh, cool. That's what, a D4?
Yep.
I'll pat you on the back. Give you barbarian inspiration.
Barbaric inspiration? I don't think
Only if it's auntie.
barbaric inspiration for a
It's a
assembly of
D.
things.
It's a D0.
Zero. Why can't? There we go. Okay, this one jumped at me. Just on a D4. Okay, so what are we doing? Dex.
Straight dex.
Straight Dex.
Plus whatever bonuses you just added on top of all of that.
Okay, so then that is going to be 11 plus 2 is 13 plus 1 is 14.
Would you use a domain die?
I can use a domain die for that. Let's use a domain die for that. Shall we use a domain die for that? We're gonna use a domain die for that. Okay, we're gonna use another domain die for that. So it's a 2.
You got 152 of them.
I know. Let's have some fun and use them ups.
I just see Cantriel trying to put this together, and then she just all you hear is
Son of a bitch. Okay, so then that is now going to be a 17.
okay. There's a moment, Cantriel, as you're putting this together, that as you're sort of sliding the last ring on, the new ring, you have it misaligned. You, just as you're about to sort of snap it into place, you realize the runes are reversed from what they should be. And you actually see a small spark start, and that's when you're like, son of a bitch, and you pull it away. You take a deep breath, you turn it over, and you attach it, and it snaps into place. Once the ring snaps into place, you feel just a momentary slight hum.
It foomed, and she'll hand it back over to Thorgarn.
So thank you very much. So I hold the thing, and I look to the dude over my right. That's right.
That's it. That's what I didn't do. I mean, I would have done it eventually, if I hadn't died. You know. Now you're just going to have to attune to it before you can use it.
Yes,
well, somebody will.
I got this.
All right, I'm gonna go back and warm up again.
Again, thank you.
No problem.
So it will take an hour. You've spent a total of about 3 hours working on this thing. It's a good thing you re-rolled a domain die, because the 14 was missing it by 1, and that would have been another one of those big explosions. I forget what the damage was on. Oh yeah, it was.
That was Cantriel was almost dead last time. So
it was 90-ish damage.
It was 10d10 plus 35 damage when that thing blew up. I paused just long enough for you to say, you better use a domain die, because I was about to say, have you start making con checks. But anyway, it will take another hour of waiting to attune to it if you have the attunement slot.
I do.
In attuning to this device, you know, of course, that it's called the Summer Star because of Macretus. You know that he's true to his word. You could make it stop snowing. This magic item will allow you to control weather.
Can we name this thing Pudge, please? Pudge controls the weather. Lilo and Stitch, come on!
No, I got it.
I'm sorry. I was actually looking to see if the Summer Star was actually in D&D Beyond.
No, I don't believe it is.
So yes, I'm gonna turn off the snow. So this is kind of crazy. Is it just weather control, like in a certain radius, or like,
You simply need to use an action to cast control weather from it. It will take 10 minutes for it to fully activate.
Okay, cool.
And you can control the weather within 5 miles of you for the next 8 hours.
Awesome.
The Summer Star eliminates the need for you to be outdoors to activate it. You can change the current weather conditions, which, as we know, are cold and snowy and overcast and night. Night's not a weather condition. That's something else entirely.
Are you sure?
You can change the precipitation, temperature, and wind. It takes 1d4 times 10 minutes for the new conditions to take effect. And once they do so, you can change them. You can change them again. So basically, you can change the temperature and the precipitation and everything incrementally, or set it where you want it, and determine where you want it to be. And then over the course of 10 to 40 minutes, that will take effect. And you can adjust that accordingly over the next 8 hours.
So it's kind of set it and forget it.
And it works within a 5-mile radius.
So the actual spell has concentration.
You will also have to concentrate on it.
So I guess, 3 hours of work, an hour of attunement, 10 minutes to cast the spell. So I'm going for almost 4.5 hours before, Thorgarn kind of comes back to like the main area of, where everybody is. Well, sorry about that. It was a bit of a thing. I pulled up the orb. Fig and Cantriel helped me fix it, and I got weather under control now.
Hey,
That is very helpful.
I can't believe you did it. Thank God. Thank the thunder. I can finally rest. I thought I was going to be trapped here forever.
Now, was his remains here, or was he like blasted into ash?
You found his skeleton on the ground next to the table. You see, as you look at Macretus, he seems to start to glow. And he just falls apart in lighted particles. These lighted particles swirl through the air, and everybody can see them as they begin to swirl around this room. And then the particles seem to break into 3 pieces, or 3 distinct groups of particles. One swirls above each: Cantriel, Fig, and Thorgarn. And then it falls upon you. When it does so, you feel a warmth and light within your soul. Fig, Cantriel, and Thorgarn, you have just been given the blessing of the Morning Lord. Every day at dawn, you gain 10 temporary hit points.
Cool.
I don't think this is how it's intended, but Perkins is such a... There's no dawn in this campaign.
Right. I wasn't going to say anything, but I couldn't help but see that right away. Dan got it. Yeah.
That hadn't hit me till just now. That's funny.
So the next time the sun rises, you get 10 temporary hit points. I will say, annotate Blessing of the Morning Lord, and you get 10 temporary hit points each day at dawn, because this is a forever blessing.
Oh, snap.
It just won't do anything for you anytime soon.
I mean, technically it does. Like, magic
Well,
items
yeah,
still
I mean, I guess-
recover charges.
I guess, yeah,
Even if
otherwise
there's no
everything would be
specific
dead.
sunrise
But
where
at any rate, the Blessing of the Morning Lord has been bestowed upon you. Father Greffin returns in the wake of Macretus's departure. It is based on the fact that you had your encounter with the ice troll and said farewell to Gerithan and everything. That all took place within the early to late morning. It's now mid-afternoon, early to mid-afternoon. Based on what Oya Mintarok told you, you've got a good probably 10, 12 mile hike through the snow to the river, and then follow the river to Lonelywood. in these conditions, currently, without the use of altering the weather, it is cold, and it will take you it will take you at least 3 or 4 hours to travel this distance. I mean, you're trudging through heavy snow. So what would you like to do? Thorgarn, you of course have the summer star that you can activate at any time, if you choose to do so.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I had taken the 10 minutes to cast that.
Okay, so what is your desired weather effect?
So turn the precipitation off, and I can't just with average intelligence. I'm not going to be like, oh, let's turn it to summer and just melt all of the snow. I think that would create all kinds of problems. But if we could dial it up a number of degrees to make things easier temperatures for traveling quite the distance that we have to, I think that's probably the smartest and whatnot. I'd probably discuss with again Fig and Cantriel. No offense, but Cantriel is an elf. I assume you know something about nature. Fig's really smart.
There's also that ranger thing that jumped in too. So
every once in a while, I forget that you're not all bard.
I'm not your ordinary bard. Yeah.
So I would take all of the counsel under advisement and proceed to do what's best for us and the surrounding area.
Roll a d4.
Ooh.
Ted.
So 4.
So what I'm imagining that you sort of settle in on based on what you've talked about is kind of like those cold winter days where the sky turns, if it were daylight, the sky turns just bright blue, maybe a few white clouds in the sky. It looks a heck of a lot warmer than it is. But compared to what the winter's been, you feel like you could almost go out without a jacket. As somebody who lives in Michigan, I'm talking about, when it goes from being 0 degrees to 28 or 30 degrees, you're like, oh yeah, this is no problem at all. It does take about 40 minutes. Are you choosing to wait this out, or are you going to change the weather and just start walking? What's the intent here?
I think given our lack of supplies and whatnot, I think it's best to wait it out. And when it gets to be bearable, or the most bearable that we're going to get for now, that's when we would probably start. Anyone who hadn't already that needed a short rest during that time would be able to definitely get it.
Yeah, enough time has passed that, and especially with you having to wait an hour to attune to it. If you wanted to, somewhere in there, anybody could have gotten a short rest if you needed it after your encounter with the ice troll.
That's right. I was down some spell slots, so I'll take a short rest and recharge.
Yeah. So if you need to, go ahead and do that mechanically.
Song of Rest from Cantriel.
That'll give you an extra D8 of healing. And I'm going to say that the change in the weather has increased the amount of time you can spend out in this weather before you need to make a Constitution saving throw. Normally in the extreme cold, you would be taking Constitution checks every hour. I'll say that this has reduced that to every 2 hours. So yeah, you notice that it's no longer snowing outside. The wind has ceased blowing. Maybe even there's just at the edges of the eaves of the cabin, there's the drip, drip, drip of some of the icicles. Just a little bit as you head out in the direction that Mintarok pointed out to you. Which
the werebear left, right?
The werebear did leave, yes. You are here.
Were there any supplies and stuff that we were given liberty to kind of take some, given how much travel time we have to make to get to town?
The only supplies that were brought, though no special instructions were given, she just said that she periodically comes up to make repairs, and she dropped off firewood at the cabin. That was it.
Okay, never mind.
So you are here. You know that you have to travel down sort of to the west to get down to the river, and then if you follow the river, you will eventually reach Lonelywood. You begin traveling, and you're trudging along down a steady decline. It's not too steep. The snow is no longer powdery. It has that thick, wet, you could make a snowman easily with this stuff because of the change in weather. But you're able to see quite a bit further. I mean, you're still limited because of the darkness, though everything has this very clear look, glow of the aurora that continuously roils in the sky above your head. You could catch hints of it through the earlier storm, but you can see it very clearly. These ribbons of mostly green, but will transition into blues and yellows, even pinks and purples, continuously through the sky. As you are traveling, I would like everybody to give me a perception check.
$20.
That's
18.
not what I would have guessed from that expression.
Right?
What? I thought it'd be more.
Drown?
7.
Talmud, you're blurry.
It's just because of the way I feel right now. No,
Drinking Kiergan to stay warm?
He's got
I don't know.
winter lamps. He's good.
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that, but I got a 6 total.
Okay. Fig and Cantriel. As you're walking, no snow is falling, but you notice that it's been about an hour that you've been walking, and you notice that the aurora is growing a little obscured, almost as if clouds are moving in, but it's not clouds. It seems to be expanding and drifting downward as you realize that there is in fact a fog that is descending from the sky, and as it begins to roil along the surface of the unbroken snow ahead of you, you are the first two to notice that within this snow, there appears to be a bright white light, as if somebody were shining a bullseye lantern coming towards you through the snow. You see this light coming from the direction you are traveling. It's sort of amplified by the fog, so it's hard to tell what the source is, but it looks like, based on the height and distance, that it very well could be somebody carrying a lantern shining this white light, and then it seems to separate, and you see that there is in fact a second and then a third figure. As you see this, do either of you say anything as you first see it before the others have noticed?
Might have company. Very softly.
All right. With Cantriel saying that, the others of you kind of look around and you notice this. Suddenly the fog seems to be everywhere, and what looks like three figures coming towards you, but the light is almost like the best anachronistic way I can think of it is almost like you're at a concert and the stage has some of the stage lights shining through a fog machine, and you can see what looks like somebody stepping in front of these spotlights. And you see, though you can't tell if this is because the light coming from behind is magnifying their presence, but you see rising up from the snow what appears to be a very large, broad-shouldered entity. As it rises up more and more, you see these curling claws come out from the sides. And then you see from the shoulders this head, huge in proportion, rise up. And you see massive horns curling down and around from its head. It gestures out to its sides with gnarled claws hanging, scratching, digging, pointing towards the sky. It reaches in and makes a motion like this. And the fog parts. And that is where we're going to take a break. And when we get back from this break, we'll see just what concert they are about to enjoy. Let's keep a note, Ted. I will also keep a note that you're 1 hour and 40 minutes into your control weather effect. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. Stick around for about 10 minutes. We are going to take a quick break to refresh beverages, bio break, whatever we got to do, and we will see you on the other side. And we're back. You see these gnarled claws reach up into this fog, pull it apart like a curtain, and then you see the actual form of this entity, which here is a very stylized version of what you see standing in the mist and the fog. It's there you go. Dan's got a little different version from the not special edition cover. I thought it was on the inside cover here, but that's a knucklehead trout.
Even sort of blipping through the
Could've
fog,
gotten
thanks
the
to
mini. Crud.
I know. I need to get
Can you give
the 3-form
If
minis.
you give me 2 minutes, I can get the mini.
Well, you're gonna be fighting the maxi, so.
Oh, no. No.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that you see. The source of the light is not individuals carrying lanterns, though they are humanoid individuals. You see wearing remnants of cold weather clothing and boots and partial gloves, but you see rotted skin and bones through them. These creatures that are shambling through the snow, but from where their hood is pulled up, bright white light spills out onto the ground around, creating this spotlight effect. You see 10 winged snow-like creatures. They almost look like insectoid or imp-like creatures flying around, flitting through the light, and it is from these creatures that you see the fog that is enshrouding the area taking effect. This area, for the purpose of visibility, is considered obscured, so attacks will be at disadvantage, but with that, I need everybody to roll for initiative. As it is very clear, these things mean you harm. All right, let's start with Thorgarn.
It's gonna be a 12.
Cantriel.
22.
Fig.
15.
Talmud.
17.
Drown.
8.
Somehow I knew it was going to be a single digit. All right. Cantriel. You've got 3 of these creatures with the light illuminating, spilling out from their faces. These cold light walkers. You've got these 10 creatures flying around in the air above, and then you've got this massive owl-like entity that you can now see as the fog curtain was just spread to the side and sort of spills to the ground, that this figure wears a cloak that appears to be made of snow. What are you going to do, Cantriel?
I quickly pull out these billows that Ira gave me, and we're going to gust of wind. And hopefully, slow some of them down and maybe clear a little fog. So that is strength saving throw on the start of their turn.
What's the range on the gust of wind that generates?
60 feet and then 10 feet wide.
And they're about 30 feet from you. Does it say what the speed is of the gust of wind?
No, it just says it's a blast.
It doesn't matter. It'll work. All right. So all of my people need to make strength saving throws. You said
People.
You're
Yeah,
Drew.
start there. Strength saving start of their turn,
Okay.
or be pushed 15 feet away.
Okay, at the start of their turn.
Yeah.
All right, so
You'll
you
put the
just
spell into the
whip
side
out the
chat.
billows and just start.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And
Not today, Satan.
so, well,
Literally, she's saying that because she sees the horns.
it does a fantastic job of dispersing the obscuring fog. So that's not a problem. Any bonus actions or anything else?
Talmud, you might want to have some friends come out and play, and she's giving bardic inspiration.
All right, Talmud, you're up next.
Okay, now seeing that they're facing a number of foes, he will go ahead and draw Ghost Cleaver and begin making his way towards, I guess we're going to go straight for the big guy. If you can make it, that is.
30 feet.
I think...
unless you have something
Okay,
that prevents or makes it not so, ground is considered difficult terrain because of the thick snow.
I was going to say, I do believe that the boots of the Winterland, I'm checking that right now. Yes, you ignore difficult terrain created by ice or snow.
Yep, so you can move just fine in the snow. So you can make it to this creature.
So as he does so, he crosses the distance and his tattoos begin to glow up his arms and chest and across onto his face. And as they do so, they protrude out away from Talmud's own face, forming instead the visage of Auntie. And she's going to step forward and close with this bizarre-looking creature. Giri, we need to make it through this town, and you're standing in our way. That cannot happen. And she's going to attack with Ghost Cleaver twice. Sorry about that. The first is going to be 28 to hit.
Yep, that'll hit.
I hope so. The second is going to be an 18. I'm going to spin a domain die. And then try to throw my die across the room. That's better. It's a 23.
That'll hit.
Excellent. Okay, so the first. Ooh, I have Savage Attacker. I'm gonna reroll that. Okay, let's see. That's 15 points from the first one. The second, Cantriel, I can throw your inspiration die on to the damage, correct? Your dollar. Is that right? Okay, cool.
Yep.
Thank you.
Didn't hurt
the
things.
Second,
You said your valor. For some reason, I thought you said you were asking if you could do that for $1.
Sure.
What?
Hang
I
on.
do that for $1.
I don't think that's how D&D works.
No, but it might be how our inspiration works.
Right.
I
Man,
don't know. I've met some DMs and it totally works that way.
save so much money. Okay, so the second one is a 15.
What was the damage on the first one?
Damn it, Jake. I do not recall now. I think 16.
It was right around that same number. All right.
Question
I'll
mark?
give you the. That's fine. All right. You hit this creature, and up close you can see that it is standing on almost these goat-like legs with wolf's fur seeming to cover most of its body, though its head is that of a massive owl with curling horns and wicked claws for hands. You get a good look at these claws as it uses a legendary action to reach out. And you see as it reaches at you with just a quick, you see this quick slashing with its talons. It seems to gather the frost from the air. And it is using its touch of frost on you for 26 to hit.
It's really close. But no, yeah, it hit me. Absolutely.
You will take 15 points of cold damage. Which
I have
your boots
resistance
make you resistant, I believe. So
Yes.
8. But you cannot take reactions until the start of your next turn.
Okay.
Because of the cold damage done to you.
Roger that.
These flying creatures are going to swoop out of the air, and 2 of them are going to attack each of you. So do some quick things here. You're each going to get hit with a claw attack from one, and the other one is going to try to blast you with its frost breath. So everybody will need to make me a dexterity saving throw.
So I can see this thing coming at me, though? So I can get
Yes.
danger sense? Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. So what's everybody got for their dex checks?
17.
19.
18.
2?
Jake, how big are these critters?
They are small. They're about the size of a flying goat. So I
As,
think
like a point of comparison.
Wait, hold up.
nobody questioned that. Not one of you questioned that for a
I'm-
moment.
A
I'm with
flying goat?
Yes.
Like, nah.
Yeah, if goats had wings, that's how big these things would be. Okay.
Goat.
Fig, you're going to take 4 points of cold damage. Everybody else is going to take 2 points of cold damage. You can reduce that, obviously, to 1 if you're resistant. From the frost breath of each of
Flying
these.
goats.
Drown. Does an 18 and a 22 hit you? Both of those are hits.
Yes, sir. Those are both hits.
Oh wait, sorry. That would only be the one hit. I don't know why I rolled twice. So that would be 4, 5. Okay, let me get this figured out. 5 slashing damage and 3 cold damage. Cantriel.
I will take 1 cold damage. Because
Cantriel does a 14 hit you. Fig does a
Happily no.
22 hit you. That's going to be 6 piercing, or sorry, 6 slashing and 5 cold damage. Thorgarn, 22. That's gonna be 5 slashing and 5 cold. And Talmud, a 6 is not gonna hit you. So that's all of these things just swarming.
Really close,
They're sort of just screeching. What the heck? We already said they're about the size of a flying goat. They weirdly sound like goats too, as they're just flying through the air at you. It's weirdly, it sounds like a farm in this battle. After they're done messing with you, Fig, it is your turn.
How many of these flying things are within 30 feet of the big guy?
Talmud's the only one that ran up. So these things all had to fly to the rest of you. So each of you, they're sort of swarming all around you. There's the two that are on Talmud. That would also mean they're right next to the big individual.
All right. So Fig, Fig is going to step back, just narratively. It's not moving, but he just kind of takes a small half step back in order to shift his weight from one end to his body to the other, and he leans back, and you see he almost looks like he is going to throw a spear. He's holding it in his hand, but you see nothing there. And immediately, from seeming nowhere, lightning comes down and hits Fig's hand, and in a moment he looks like he's holding this lightning, and he's going to throw it at this large beast, and you see it just implant itself into this beast. The lightning begins to surround him and shoot out at these other two flying things as he casts chain lightning on those three things, and they have to make a dex saving throw.
All right. Those are going to be fails, and the big form is 15 is the highest for this large form. The others got
Excellent.
Way below that.
So they all fail. I'm not sure. With chain lightning, do I only have to roll it once or 3 per time it hits? Once, okay.
Yeah, you just roll once and it hits everybody that you target.
Sweet. All right, that is going to do 50 points to each of them of lightning damage.
All right. A little bit of lightning snow here. As this lightning arcs across, hits this figure, and you see the light dancing. You get a good look at it. Its full form illuminated in this light. Okay. So you said 50?
Yep, 50.
Okay. And then the two that were on Talmud are going to take 50. And as the lightning strikes into these creatures, Talmud, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Is this something I can see the source of? Danger sense?
Yes, because the two that got hit by lightning, the two flying creatures, are exploding.
So that's a 22 with a nat 20 on the die.
All right. Whoops, that's a D10. So you only take 3. Well, you'll only take 1 point of cold damage, but you do see when these two flying creatures die, they explode in ice shrapnel. And so two of them are gone. And is that your turn, Big?
Yep.
Oh, hold on a second. A 23 would actually save against your lightning effect and have the damage. I forgot that this creature has resistant, or not resistance, magic resistance, so it has advantage on saving throws against your magical effect. So it would save, so it's not going to take the full 50, it's going to take half of that.
Okay.
So many things on this page. All right, Fig, you're done. Your turn is over. I didn't mean you're done. You're done, Fig. From the edges of the fray, these other creatures with the illuminated faces begin running towards all of you. Running, just sort of ignoring you, engaged with the larger entity, Talmud. One of them is heading right for Fig. Let me roll and see who they're going for. Sorry, there's less of you. I have to roll a smaller die. One's going for drown. Two of them are going for drown. All three of them are going for drown. I'm kidding. One is going for drown. One is going for Fig, and one is going for Cantriel. As these things come running,
Jake, were any of them quickly? I have the gust of wind.
Oh yeah, I
They
forgot.
need
I
to
got to
do
make
the,
the roll.
They do the
That's
savey thing to see if they get pushed back 15 feet, and then it's harder to move.
I need to remember that I just threw a die across the room.
Okay.
Okay. So the first one has a, you said that's strength, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
That's a 21.
Makes it.
The one coming for Cantriel gets an 8.
Miss that. Yeah, yep, they're pushed back.
And a dirty 20 on the one heading for Fig.
Oh, wait,
So the one that, I imagine the one that's running for you just runs right into that gust of wind that you created. And actually goes tumbling, and you see as it runs past, it gets knocked back half the distance that it came. It, from the ground, it will, yeah, that's what it's going to do. The one you knocked over is going to hold up a hand with bones sticking out through rotted gloves, and you see as the storm swirls in its hand and shoots towards you, Cantriel. That is a dirty 20 to hit.
Not if you reroll.
If you would like me to, I will do that.
Yes, please.
That's going to be 2 domain die, so that's going to take you from 151 to 149, so I need to X this. And doot. So the new roll is a 18 to hit.
Yeah, it still hits.
So you feel just pure frostbitten cold energy striking into you, Cantriel. And you will take 25 points of cold damage. Fig, the creature that runs up on you, as it runs towards you, it's sort of running with its head almost down, and you see this light sort of reflecting off the snow. But as it comes running up at you, it just lifts its head, and the light just shoots into your face. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Uh, 12.
You are blinded until the start of this creature's next turn. As it runs up on you, it is going to slam into you, which will have advantage because of your blindness. The highest roll on that is a 13.
None of those went.
So I just imagine it blinds you, and then it runs into you, and everybody around you just hears this sort of clang as it thuds into your metallic form, not expecting that, and it just bounces off of you, and it's still engaged, but it bounces back about a foot. And then Drown, the one that comes running up on you, I need you to make a con save too, as it's going to attempt to blind you with its blinding light.
15.
You're able to shield your gaze, so you are not affected by that. Straight roll to attack you. That's going to be a 14 to hit. As it comes running up, anticipating you being blinded, you're able to parry out of the way as it tries to slam into you. So that's the 3 walkers. Now it is time for the big being that is standing right in front of Talmud. And it is going to... this creature is going to spread its arms out to its side, and this snow-like cloak seems to stretch out like wings, and it just rises up. Because you can't take a reaction, Talmud, you cannot take a opportunity attack against it. As it rises up, it is going to... It is going to shoot a magic spell at you. Ooh, maybe I should do that instead. As it rises up, all around it, you see from the sky as a hail of rock-hard ice begins raining down in an ice storm. Right now, Talmud, you're the only one affected by this, but it extends 20 feet, so it's within 10 feet of the others. So I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Danger sense is applicable.
Yes. Yeah, you totally see this.
I figured as much with the way you described it, but I just always like to check just in case. That's a 21.
That is going to... I'm fairly certain that's going to save. You said a 21? Or 20?
21.
Yep.
Can drink.
Okay, yeah, that saves.
21.
So you will take 9 halved to 5 cold bludgeoning damage from the hailstorm, which will actually be halved, or is halved because you're raging, and 19 halved to 10 cold damage for your resistance.
15 total.
And this okay. Excuse me. I misread the duration on that. That's just instantaneous. So it's basically just did a ice bucket challenge on you. And that is the end of its turn. Thorgarn, you are up.
All right, so
Wait, Thorgarn, did
how
you get
many-
hit? Did you get hit by the flying goats?
yes,
I need you to make a concentration check.
I passed both my checks.
Okay, perfect.
In the chat.
I missed that. Thank you.
17 and a 12 on the die.
Perfect.
Was
You're on top of it. I totally forgot about it until 10 minutes later.
yeah, it was a total of 10 damage between the two of them. So the dice was more than enough for the checks. It's one of the things that I'm trying to get better at, concentration checks. But we've got flying goats, we got wolf things, and we got this owl creature. Are any of the goats damaged besides the ones that was blasted by lightning?
No, nobody's hit any of them yet.
All right. Well, let's just try and get the smaller things out of the way. Are they up in the air? Or are they actually on us?
They're within reach, but they're up in the air, flying around you.
Well, I will throw Forge Fane at one of them. So that is a 29 and a 32 to hit. Sorry, 30.
Yeah. You were throwing it twice at one?
Well, I figured I'd see how the first one goes.
Okay.
And then... Oh, that is max damage for 23.
All right. You throw Forge Fane up, it strikes this thing, and it immediately explodes. Make a dexterity saving throw.
It's going to be an 18.
You take 2 points of slashing damage from the ice shrapnel.
All right.
So that's one gone.
Load goats.
That is a 16 on my Constitution saving throw for that.
Perfect.
Second attack. It is only going to be 13 damage. No. Yeah, 13.
Okay. This one strikes it, but it just kind of careens, spins in the air, and is still active.
That still leaves me with a bonus action. And these goats things are on the ground. Yes.
The what?
Sorry, not the wolf things are on the ground.
Wolf things. What wolf?
You said there were small things that wound up charging some of us.
No, those were humanoids. The cold light walkers.
Okay.
They're basically they look like zombies wearing cold weather gear with bright light coming out of their hoods.
Okay.
I was like, wolves?
I don't know where I heard wolf then. I apologize. But it's difficult terrain. Are there any that are within 15 feet of me?
Yeah, the one on Drown and the one on Fig.
I will go assist Fig.
Okay.
I will swing Faithkeeper. I'm probably going to use a domain die. Yeah, I will use a domain die. All right, that's a 22 to hit.
Yeah. That will hit it.
Minimum damage, 2.
All right.
And so ends my turn.
Drown, you're up. But wait, before you go, the creature that is up in the air above Talmud, you watch as it vanishes. You're looking right up at this thing, Talmud, and anybody else that sees it, it's gone. Talmud, you don't see this right away, but the rest of you see as it looks as though behind Talmud, between all of you, the snow begins to rise. And then you see these horns, the head, and the claws rising up to tower over Talmud as it appears behind him. Drown, it's your turn.
Okay, cool. All right, so the flying owl goat bat disappeared, reappeared between us and Talmud. One of the cold light walkers got tumbled back by the gust of wind, right?
Yep.
How close are those two to each other? The big scary creature and the walker?
15 feet apart.
Are there any other bad guys in that rough area?
No, because Fig destroyed the two mephits that were flying around.
So pretty much just the two of them in a pretty decent space.
Yep, within 15 feet of each other. And you have one cold light walker and 2 ice mephits on you.
Yep. That's for sure. Can I put a 20-foot cube that gets the cold light walker and the big scary figure and doesn't hit any of my companions?
Yes.
Oh, I'll do that. So Drown will turn his attention away somewhat brashly from the glowing thing in his face, reach out his hands toward the other two things, and all of his tattoos start to glow and writhe, those shimmering spectral tentacles. Similar glow shines up like out of rippling, like it's out of the water in the snow around the two bad things, and these watery, ghostly kraken tentacles start bursting up out of the snow and wrapping around them. So I'm going to cast Evard's Black Tentacles, and they need to make saving throws, I believe. Yeah, they need to make dexterity saving throws. Wait. Hang on. So not when I cast it, just when their turns start. They'll have to deal with this. So big old Leviathan Kraken tentacles squirming around.
Perfect.
And I believe that is going to be it from a turn.
The large horned owl entity is going to use its next legendary action to, from behind, it's going to slash at Talmud's shoulders with its Touch of Frost for a dirty 20 to hit.
It'll hit.
Talmud, you suddenly take 15 halved to 8 cold damage as you are struck once again by this thing that is suddenly behind you. That takes us back to the top of the order. Cantriel, it is your turn.
All right, seeing this creature behind Talmud, she's not happy. And she's going to pull out Sempre Cavatina. And as she's pulling that first arrow back, it's a swift death to you who have wronged me. And she's going to activate that lovely thing against the horned owl biatch. Let's call it that. Okay, so that is going to be a 19 to hit.
19 to hit, yes.
Beautiful. So then that is going to be 17 piercing.
17 magical piercing.
And then second one. Wait, I haven't used this in a while. It's every single time, right?
What's every single time?
The extra dice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get back here. Oh, that's a 4. Okay. And that's going to be a 27 to hit this time.
Yeah.
Just in case, you know. So then that is. Oh, interesting. Okay, so it's no wait. 17 plus 4 is 21 to hit, or 21 piercing, not to hit.
Another 21 piercing.
Yes.
All right, I was just looking at a couple things on Sempre Cavatina because we haven't seen it in a while.
Nope.
All right, yeah, you see your arrows pierce into it from behind, but you notice that as your arrows strike it, they instantly freeze and shatter.
Grand.
All right. Is that your turn?
That's pretty much all I can do right now. Yep.
All right. Talmud, it's your turn.
Somewhat staggered from the slash that he just received on his shoulder, he kind of takes a half step forward and basically kind of like swings, not quite blindly, but almost like a parting slash towards this creature with Ghost Cleaver. How dare you, dearie? I don't think that's going to be a very polite thing to do. You're going to have to answer for it. And is going to strike out. We're going to go reckless. Oh my god. Let's see if it works. I'm gonna roll with an 18.
Okay. Total of
See
18?
if that sticks. Yeah.
That's a hit.
Okay, good deal. Whew. Second strike. Repositions his footing and then delivers a over the head chop with a 22.
All right. 2 solid hits.
So, damage. The first of which is going to be, I'm going to roll Savage Attacker. $17 on the first one. Ooh, there we go. And 20 on the second.
All right.
Slashes.
Is that your turn then?
It is. And she is swarming with dwarven ancestors all over her.
All right.
Infested, you might say.
Perfect. I believe everybody but Talmud has ice methods. As this owl-like creature gets struck and is harried by these spectral entities flying around it, you just see one claw reach up into the air, and you see it go like this. And I need everybody but Talmud to make dexterity saving throws.
$18.
20.
Six.
Okay.
18.
Everybody but Fig is going to take 6 points of slashing damage. Fig, you're going to take 12 points of slashing damage as all 8 remaining ice methods explode.
Did the creature's attack on me nerf my reactions again this round or not?
No. Wait. No.
Okay.
Wait. Hold on.
No, wait.
Because I got to look at what it specifically struck you with. The touch of frost. Yes, that did nerf your reactions.
Oh, I see. Okay, then go on, please.
I'm sorry, Jake. How much damage did I take on that?
6. Fig took the
6.
full damage.
And-
Everybody else saved.
And that's slashing from
That's slashing from
exploding
ice shrapnel.
That is just barely passing my concentration check.
Okay. So every ice misfit is now off the battlefield.
Woot.
It is only the Cold Light Walkers and this mysterious figure that remain, but it is Fig's turn.
Fig leans down and begins tracing these sigils deep in the snow. And it only takes a moment or two, but then once he's done, he slams his hand down onto the snow. And when he lifts it up, the hand begins to get larger and larger and snowy. It begins to rise up as he casts Figby's hand. Is going to attack the owl. The weird demon owl is going to try and grapple it.
All right.
If it is smaller than huge.
It is.
Is it
It's
smaller than huge? Okay.
Yep, it's not that large. It only looked large and imposing. I mean, it's got broad shoulders and this big cloak, but it's actually comparable to Drown in size.
Oh. All right. So it has to make opposing strength.
Wunderbar. That is...
Got a
What?
16. I got a 16. Sorry.
Well, I got a 14.
Oh. Yeah, it's grappled.
Hold on 1 second. Because... you're still blind.
I am.
Until the end of the walker's next turn.
Oh no.
Roll me a insight check.
Uh, 9.
Yeah, because of your blindness, you wouldn't really be able to see where this thing was with it having changed its position. You wouldn't even know that it was on the ground behind Talmud. Because when last you saw it, it was in front of Talmud. You never saw it go in the air. You never saw it teleport behind him. You can form Figby's hand, but you wouldn't be able to make that grapple attack.
Okay. Well, he makes the hand.
If you want to switch to a different attack, I'll allow that, since we're sort of retconning that.
Fig had a cold light walker, right?
Yeah, you have a cold light walker that is on you.
So you could go after that thing. That's reasonably obvious, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to take your attack away from you because we retcon that. You do get an action.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot. Okay. Then, yeah, I think he's going to make a strike at disadvantage against the walker. That
Perfect.
He can know that is there. That's not going to hit. I rolled a 3, so he misses.
What's the bonus to hit?
He has a hand. It's a plus 11, so that's a 14.
That'll hit. Never assume your attack misses. Yeah, 14 is enough to hit the Cold Light Walker.
Okay. That is 21.
21 damage?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep.
It is now the Cold Light Walker's turns. The one on you.
The one in the tentacles needs to make a strength save.
Oh, yep. That's the one that's further back. That's
DC of 20.
Factoring gust of wind if they're still going on in that one. They have to do the save.
So the first save for the tentacles is 14.
All right, so he's restrained.
Okay, well,
And also takes 10 points of bludgeoning damage from being crushed by tentacles.
okay. Fig, the one on you is going to make 2 attacks against you.
With advantage.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, because that's why I hesitated, because I rolled a natural 1, but then I remembered it's with advantage. That's still only going to be a 10 to hit, so it's going to miss you. I imagine it's struggling to strike you because the light is reflecting off of your copper body into its own face. And with that, you are no longer blinded. It's the end of that one's turn. The other one is wrapped up in the tentacles, which left the one on Drown, which is going to attempt 2 attacks against you. That's going to be a 23 and an 18. Drown?
I'm sorry, you said a 23 and an 18?
Yes.
Oh, that's 2 hits.
Okay. So as this thing slams into you, you are going to take 1, 2. You're going to take 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15 points of bludgeoning damage.
I'm going to use my reaction to Stone's Endurance stat and try to reduce it.
All right.
12. Exactly 15.
All right. So you reduce the bludgeoning damage, but you're still going to take the 21 points of cold damage from those 2 hits, which will, I believe, you're
10.
resistant.
Yeah.
So you can have that. So the cold light walkers are done.
The one who failed his save and got restrained, he can actually use his action to try and get out of the tentacles, if he would like, rather than sitting there doing nothing.
The natural 1, he will fail.
Okay, he will hang out right there then.
All of you, every last one of you, hears a voice in your head. This voice pierces your brain and gives you a sensation of pure cold, the shock of falling into an icy river. As you hear this voice say, "You don't belong here." And when the voice finishes, you all need to make a Constitution saving throw. I'm seeing some disappointed faces from those.
And debating. I'm gonna use a domain die. Just.
Okay.
I likewise used a domain die. Did you see my note that I had used one earlier and was waiting to try to tell you, and then things just snowballed?
Oh, okay.
I forgot about it.
Yeah.
I got a 17 total.
Did anybody get under an 18?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so everybody but Thorgarn? You all instantly, when this voice leaves your mind, you're hit with the sensation of brain freeze, and you are stunned.
Grand.
So the tentacles disappear.
Perfect. Let's see, let me give this domain dice even out correctly. Yeah, this is a curious sensation for you, Fig. This is the brain gem, and you feel the disruption of the diamonds that are orbiting the sapphire in your head. And it's just pure pain. So, yeah, you're all, like I said, you're all stunned from that. Except for Thorgarn. Which, yeah, you're
Breaks
incapacitated.
our concentration, too.
You can't take actions or reactions, and that will last until the start of this creature's next turn, or the end of this creature's next turn. You then see, actually, Thorgarn, you're probably the only one that sees this, as everybody's suddenly clutching at their heads. The figure, in a flurry of snow, vanishes. You hear an owl's screech up in the air, about 30 feet, and then you just see as this figure is flying away up in towards the Aurora. Thorgarn, it is your turn.
How far away is this creature?
Let's see, it teleported with its legendary 30 feet. And if it uses, it's 150 feet away.
Yeah, that's more than double what I could conceivably do.
I just had to double check its fly speed.
Are the glowy creatures still around?
Yes.
So there's definitely one right there, that was attacking Fig. So I guess I'll start off with that guy. Say 29.
Yep. Yeah, at this point, at least a 14 and higher will hit. And we just got raided by Initiative Coffee Company. That's going to earn you all another domain die. Thank you for the raid, Initiative Coffee Company.
So that's going to be 12 damage.
Okay.
Is he still up?
It is.
I will come in with the other Warhammer with Faithkeeper. That is 22 to hit.
Yep.
That's going to be 4 damage.
4 damage.
I'm going to try and see if I can lure one of the other ones over to me, since everybody seems to be kind of not really working. So is there one more, 2 more?
There's one within 10 feet that Drown's dealing with, and the one that's 15 feet away that got blown back by the gust spell and has never recovered.
All right, well, I'll do the one that's attacking Drown. I'll throw Forge Fan at him.
Perfect.
That's going to be a dirty 20.
Yep.
That's 11. That's 18 damage.
All right.
I guess
Oops.
they're up.
Drown. It is your turn.
So the thing that stunned us already took its turn.
No.
Is that when it
so you're stunned until the end of its next turn.
Yeah, so I'm still stunned.
So you're stunned.
Doesn't it just loop back around to?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, because there's things that go in between.
Oh, my apologies.
So Drown, you can't take any actions or reactions. The goes to the back of the top. Cantriel, you're stunned. Talmud, you're stunned.
Stunning.
The Mephits are all dead. Fig, you actually get to go. Oh no, you're stunned.
I am also stunned.
Okay, so
Damn it, Jake. I got all happy.
all right, so this is the one Thorgarn is and Fig both are sort of on this one. It is going to attack you, Thorgarn, since you've been giving it some trouble. It's going to try something, so that's going to be a 9 to hit. So it's going to miss you. As you're slamming into this thing, you see as it tries to direct some of this light from its hand, and I imagine just knock it out of the way with Forge Feint, and this beam of just snow and cold shoots up into the sky as it tried to cold ray you. The one that is on you, Drown, is going to make 2 slam attacks against you. That's going to be a 15 and a 16 to hit. Both of those are hit. So you're going to take 4, 12, 16, 20.
You made those with advantage, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You got 20 points of bludgeoning. Oh my gosh. That's a lot of sixes. 10, 20, 32, 34, 35 cold damage. Because you got hit with 2 attacks, and each attack does 4d6 cold damage. So that, of course, that's halved.
17 from that, so ha.
So you get slammed in. Cantriel, a couple notes for you. Where'd Cantriel go? Oh. I looked up and he's just gone. Cantriel, a couple notes. One, you marked this figure when you declared it your sworn enemy. Despite the fact that it is gone, or at least at this point it's 150 feet away, unless you change targets, that will be your sworn enemy for 7 days.
Yeah.
The other thing is the walker that was being bowled over and held by tentacles, since your gust of wind is gone from the stun, it's going to come charging at you, and it's going to... it's not going to charge you. It's going to keep its distance. That's going to be... if it could think, it would think, damn, I should have ran up on her. That's going to be a 13 to hit.
No.
As the cold energy misses you as it tries to hit you with a cold ray. What's the range on this? Okay. You all hear that voice in your head, this time a little fainter, as it says, I have marked you. I'll be watching you. And I need you all to make a Constitution saving throw again.
I'll be watching.
I will be watching.
22 this time.
Anybody?
20 with a domain die.
All right. Anybody get under an 18? Talmud, you are still stunned as you get hit with this brain freeze effect again. And it moves another 100. At this point, it's well out of range, I think. Just in case it's not, that's mechanically, let's see, that was 150. It's almost 300 feet away at this point. Thorgarn.
Right. So, looking at, there's the one on Drown, the one that I'm fighting, and then there's the one that's further away. The two that are closer, am I able to determine which one seems the most damaged?
The one that was fighting Fig that you were dealing with initially.
Come in it with Faithkeeper. It's 27 to hit.
Yep.
It's going to be 7 damage.
As Faithkeeper hits it, this thing the light just goes out as if you broke a lantern. You see the light just goes out, and this thing collapses to the ground. It is a unmoving frozen corpse.
Is a 19 to hit the one on Drown.
Yep, that'll hit.
18 damage.
This one almost does a backflip as you hit it, knocking its lights out, literally. And And again, another frozen corpse.
And you
Whoops.
said the last one is 15 feet away?
Yes, it has not moved any closer.
All right, and that is a 23 to hit.
23 to hit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is going to be 17 damage.
Thorgarn's like playing pinball out here, just throwing Forge Fane and knocking these remaining things down. As this last one goes out, the boss enemy music stops playing, and you can hear the swirling of the last faint remnants of swirling snow, and you hear the as hundreds of feet above, this figure, this mysterious entity, flies away into the night sky. Many of you, your heads stop hurting. You regain your senses. There's the only remnant of your fights, other than the movement or the smashed down snow, are the 3 frozen corpses of the Cold Light Walkers. How would you proceed after the end of this battle? What do you want to do?
I would first off, check everybody. If Talmud and Fig are still not moving, right next to Fig, I would probably immediately begin making sure he's okay.
It only takes a few moments, and they recover from this brain freeze effect and are no longer stunned.
So, does anybody know what that thing was?
It looked like a lot of different things smashed together. An owl or a bear, wolf. I don't know. It was huge.
I have never seen anything like it, or heard any tales that describe it.
Jake, could Cantriel do a check on this with her sage background and everything?
Yes, and you can do so with advantage because you marked this thing as your sworn enemy.
What do you want to do, like history or religion or kind
I will allow you to choose between history and religion.
We'll go with history. And that will be... Okay, so that will be a 23... yes, 23.
A 23. What you know. You don't have a lot of context for this. You're drawing more on the style of how it was moving, how it was acting, its bizarre appearance, the magical nature of its appearance, and bolstered by the fact that you were able to mark this thing, and you can feel that it is out there somewhere. You know 2 things. This thing is evil, and it is either a god or godlike entity.
Well, do you want the bad news or the worst news?
Let's start off with the worst news. Bad news seems like good news.
All right, well, it's evil, and then it's a god type of thing.
Wait, you mean like a god?
Like, Gerithan and his Eldath fixation thing. Yes, god.
Just roaming around
John
in the
just kind of
frozen
nods
woods?
and says, "This makes more sense than Eldath."
Well, glad that cleared that one up for you. It's not like just some superpowered creature. This is more. This is beyond Gulthias and that type of level of evil. This is higher than that.
Well, then the question is, why was it here? Why was it trying to stop us? Just from reaching some town?
Didn't
Doesn't
it
make
say
a lot of
something like we
sense.
didn't belong? We shouldn't be here?
Mm-hmm.
It seems likely that it is responsible for this never-ending night.
Well, if it's trying to stop us, then it thinks that we have the capability of undoing all of this.
Cantriel points to the device. Gee, I wonder why.
Or it reacted to our attempt to quell the winter.
If it
We
was
just
dead set on doing all of this, wouldn't it probably have come after the one with the device? Why didn't it attack me?
There was Talmud between you and it.
we put up
My
enough
cousin
of
is
a
always
fight.
good at that. So,
We have a target on our backs now. Let's just put it that way.
We should keep moving as long as we can and try to find shelter. And Drown will cast Armor of Agathis and
We'll say
get some temporary hit points.
somewhere in there too, from out behind a snowdrift, Yesha just pokes her head out. Is this safe to come out now?
Aye, at least for the time being. Good job avoiding all of that. Very nasty.
I heard its voice, and then my head felt like it was going to split.
Not wrong.
She's very cold. Her teeth are chattering at this point. If your plan is to continue on moving, I would like to do the following. I would like all of you to make me a Constitution saving throw.
Is this for extreme cold?
Yes. Unless you're cold
Those of us
resistant.
with resistance are good.
Yeah, Jeremy, Talmud and Drown, you two are fine. The rest of you need to make this.
Thanks.
14.
I'm gonna reroll.
Oops, I totally forgot to push the buttons on this. You guys actually had 145 on there. All right, so there was a reroll. Yesha passes.
I re-rolled.
What's that?
I re-rolled, so I did use the domain dime.
Okay, and you still got a 6?
Nope, I got a 1 this time, so
Oh.
a 5.
Oh,
I mean, there's more.
okay.
Just because I don't have to roll, you don't have to impersonate.
What did you get,
It's okay.
Talmud or Thorgarn?
I did.
16.
Okay, and Cantriel.
What did I say? 14. Yes, 14.
All right, Fig. You're finding it difficult to deal with this extreme cold weather. Are constructs affected by cold weather?
I mean,
Nothing to say, but I
Warforged are.
Yeah, so I don't see a
If you're
reason
going
why
by
you
those
wouldn't
stats.
be. So you have
They're
one
alive. They
level.
have alchemical juice.
You have one level of exhaustion. Yeah, your gears are sticking a bit. Your arcane life force that flows through your body is getting thick. You are able to reach the river, and you follow along the river. And with the effects of the summer star active, you can see far up ahead, you can see the edges of a forest along the river. You continue following this, and before long, you pick up a small road that works its way along the river. I do need one more Constitution saving throw from the three of you plus Yesha. Thorgarn is doing just great.
My dice have been on fire tonight. I mean, no crits, but a lot of rolls above 15. So
Let's see. Yesha has a
mine.
+2 to con, so she's fine. Fig, what'd you get? And Cantriel, what'd you get?
16.
Sorry, my cat is in my way. I got a 17.
Okay. So you just got the 1 point of exhaustion. Yesha actually just made it. So she's pretty tough. She's been through a lot. In fact, you might hear her muttering, "Yeah, just survived for days, buried under dead bodies in a vampire pantry. You can stand the cold a little bit longer." And before long, you all notice that the trees are starting to break. The river's opening up as it flows into a lake. And you see the first buildings of the village of or town of what must be the Lonely Wood. You see some people are kind of moving around. It looks like it's getting near, from the amount of time. It's been 6 hours into your control weather effect total. Thorgarn. That, and the whole way you've been walking, the snows have been clearing, the temperature's been changing a bit. But people see you coming into town. They look like there's some people pushing carts. You see a lot of signs of a logging operation happening here. There's some boats and barges that are on the river, loaded up with logs. There's a few dog sleds moving through town. You see some people that their dogs are barking throughout the town. Light spilling from a few of these villages, and people are just starting to notice all of you, and you can just hear a few voices. And the one that stands out the most is the voice that says, "What in the hell are they doing out here without winter clothes?" And that's where we're going to end this session. As you just arrived to the
Valid
Lonely
question.
Wood. Yeah, right? You live in Icewind Dale and you see people strangers coming out, and they are not dressed for this weather at all.
Nope.
So next week, we will start with the Lonely Wood, your first true. This is actually the first time you've been in a civilized place since Saltmarsh, and this is also a town on the water. So let's see how this goes.
Well,
We'll see how this goes. I just want to say thank you to everybody who hung out with us in chat. Thank you to. Oh, look, you got a subscription there at the end, so you get one of those. Whoops, you get one of those domain dice. Why is that not showing up? There we go. You get a domain die. We got a read. We got a bunch of new follows, so thank you to everybody for that. I do want to let everybody know you can type !schedule and you can see what's going on. Tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/mini-terrain-domain, will be the third episode of Friday Night Takeover, which is a show in which we have Myself and or Dwight tomorrow night, I'll be producing. We take turns producing, and we let our friends choose the system, choose their players, and they get to take over the stream for the night. Tomorrow night, Tim Carney from Absolute Tabletop and Tabletop Terrors is taking over, and he is debuting his new superhero game system called Super Heroic. Jeremy, I believe, is going to be one of the players. Tim actually just messaged me and told me who's playing. Lloyd Collins, who ran his Iskloff game on our first episode. Jeremy's going to be playing. Marquise, who ran the second session of the takeover, and our wonderful friend Michael Barker from AbTab is also going to be joining us, and possibly another guest. I won't say unless they choose not or can't play, but you can tune in tomorrow night to see. I love watching Tim's mind work, and he works with his players to sort of make a system work as they essentially are. This is the debut of this new system. So we're going to see how this works out tomorrow night. And then, of course, all of our regular streams next week. And you should be able to find me on Sunday night over on Talon and Claw, who is our sponsor, for our usual weekly shenanigans on the high seas with Sea of Thieves. I'm telling you, last week we went up against Skellies. We took out other player ships. We took out Flameheart. We got Krakened at the end. It was a good time, and we turned in over 100,000 in gold. I'm the only one that hasn't reached Pirate Legends yet, so we're working on that. And then I know it's at the same time as our Friday night takeover tomorrow, though it starts a little bit later. There's a multi-stream event happening with Dwight's going to be a part of it, Talon and Claw, GM Travis, Anthony from Roll for Persuasion, Guild the Vlogsmith is participating. Talon and Claw is hosting a Squadrons 5-on-5 dogfight live stream, and it is a multi-stream event, so it will be showing on other people's Twitch channels as well, that are going to be taking a part of this. It's going to be the first of what hopefully will be many more, and we'll be rotating people in and letting people know how they can possibly be a part of that. But definitely tune into some of those channels and just see what's going on with that. With that, of course, I have to say a terrific thank you to the now much smaller Dawnbringers, but to my absolutely amazing players, Dan, V, M, Ted, and Jeremy, without whom it would just be me talking to myself for 3 hours. And with that, we are going to go ahead and get out of here. We're going to end this stream the same way we end every stream. And you can say it with me if you want. Metadata.